Hello, Moonbeams, and welcome back to my channel, Mystic Moon School. I am Donna, and today we are going to go through the weekly moon energies and aspects. And this is the week of April 29th through May 5th. And I always do these podcasts on Mondays because Monday is the moon day. And I saw a theme this week, and I'm calling it Wisdom from the Outer Planets, because Mama Moon is going to be making very significant aspects with the outer planets, including Chiron, which is an asteroid that is all the way out there in between Saturn and Uranus, which I'm going to talk a little bit about today as well, the significance of that in and of itself. But we are going to break down day by day the moon energies. And why do I focus on the moon? Well, the moon is our most personal planet. It is our internal emotional world, really. It is how we process emotions. It's what we need to feel safe and secure emotionally. And it's the stuff that we feel that most people don't ever really know about, unless we choose to share. And so it's our whole inner world, right? That's going on, that's taking place, orbiting within us in every moment. And so the moon, depending on what sign she is in, and if you've been following me for a little while, and if we have worked together, then you know that the moon, she moves through the entire zodiac wheel over the course of a month. And she does this every single month. She cycles through all of the energies of the zodiac. And so she will spend 2 to 3 days approximately in each sign, moving very quickly through the entire zodiac. And so, the moon tied to our emotions, our moods, right? And so these are influenced by the signs that she is in. And so she beams down these energies to us. I kind of picture in my own mind that the moon has like a megaphone, and she is transmitting energy to us, whether it is from the sign that she is in or the planets that she is aspecting. And so therefore, she then transmits to us the energies of those planets, and then also the aspects that she's making to them, because, different aspects are different energies. There's supportive and flowing aspects, and then there are more challenging aspects that cause tension, frustration, or a call to action for us. And so the moon is transmitting all of these different energies to us, and we feel it in a very internal and personal way. And so let's get into it, shall we? So the lessons or the wisdom from the outer planets really does begin today on Monday, April 29th. The moon is in Capricorn, and she is making a square, which is a challenging aspect. It is often an aspect of some sort of tension or maybe frustration, but it's usually a call to action. And so who is the moon squaring today? She is squaring Mercury, our planet of communication and the way we think, Chiron, the wounded healer, and the North Node, because they are all three in Aries within very close degrees to one another. And so today she is going to be coming into this square and making an exact square to all three of these energies. And remember, the moon is how we feel. And so the moon is going to be kind of challenged to whatever she is thinking about is then causing feelings within us, right? Chiron, the wounded healer, and the North Node, what we are moving into, our destiny, our path ahead. She's feeling all of these energies, and there's a tension around this. Now, something that came through to me when I was studying the chart for today, when I was looking at Mercury, Chiron, and the North Node, and I was thinking about the moon, and one of the traits of the moon that we don't often talk about is that the moon holds our memories. The moon holds our memories. And in this square, this aspect of tension with Mercury, our thoughts, Chiron, our old wounding, these two together with a square to the moon really brings across this idea that we are remembering today our old hurts. Those thoughts are popping in our mind. I myself this morning even had some old thoughts from childhood pop up, some memories, right? The moon is our memories, and she holds our memories. And so we can be remembering today when others were particularly tough with us or hurtful. Old hurts are coming up to the surface, back into our mind, maybe things that we have not thought about in quite some time. We might be thinking about things that we regret. Maybe it's about tough love that we have received from others or that we've doled out to others or even ourselves. We may be feeling old feelings of guilt come up, perhaps shame. And really, you always want to ask, right, why? Because everything, all the feelings that come through with Mama Moon are to show us something that we can grow with, that we can grow through, that we can evolve, that we can heal. And especially with Chiron here, it's coming up for healing, right? And then, of course, there's the North Node. And so really this combination here, this stellium, the three planets, Mercury, Chiron, the asteroid, and the point of the North Node, all squaring the moon, is really what is coming up in your mind, what memories are flooding back in, causing old feelings of hurt to surface, so that you can look at it from a different perspective, right? What perspective, what new healed perspective, Chiron, can you look at whatever is popping up into your memory bank today? What healing energy can you bring to these memories? Because the North Node is asking us all to move forward. And it's pretty hard to move forward when you're carrying those heavy bags from the past of old hurts, perhaps things that you regret, hurting others, or that you remember as a child, as even not even as a child, certainly as a child. I mean, Mercury can represent youth as well, but it could be at any point in your life. It could be last week. In any event, though, it is coming up for us to reflect on and say, wow, am I ready to heal this now? Am I ready to heal this now? And so you want to notice how you're feeling and ask yourself that question. if you are ready to let this go with compassion, with understanding, knowing that whether it was you or someone else was really truly just doing the best that they could with what they had at that time, and you're ready to just let the burden of it go so that you can move towards that North Node in with more healing, right? With a more healed perspective. And that, I feel, is the main wisdom coming through today on Monday. This energy is going to carry through Tuesday morning. And so just allow whatever comes through today, tonight, tomorrow morning. And if you can, let it go with grace. Because let's see, there will be support, I want to say, from the outer planets on Monday. On Monday and into Tuesday, really, Jupiter and Uranus are going to be trining the moon. And so this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction that we're still really in, which, by the way, we're going to be in for 14 years, guys, okay? So this energy is going to play out over time, and I've talked about it in previous videos, and it is really the Great Awakening. From my perspective, that is the biggest energy of this Jupiter-Uranus conjunction, and so we are going to be awakening our spirituality, understanding and knowing, learning and teaching all about the divine mind that we are all connected to and that we all hold within us over the next 14 years. But for today and tomorrow, Jupiter and Uranus are trining, which is a very supportive aspect to Mama Moon. And so I feel that this is a beautiful combination of a challenging aspect and yet a supportive aspect. And what is it all towards? Our healing. It is all towards our healing, our new emerging self that I have been talking about all this month. And it's really a new healed version of ourselves. Now, that's not to say, right, that the healing is done. It's never done. It's never done. But we are more healed than we have ever been. And we're really reaching a new level of consciousness and awareness, so that we're just simply not going to be repeating the same patterns over and over again unconsciously, because of this level of awareness that we now have. And these beautiful new versions, healed versions of ourselves are emerging. So let's jump into Tuesday now. And the wisdom of Tuesday, not gonna lie, it's a little bit harsh, okay? So, April has been a doozy, and it's not done yet, okay? We still got a couple days. Couple days. Tomorrow is the final day in April, and it's going out with a bang or a real kick in the pants, depending on where you're at on your journey. So, what's going on Tuesday? Well, the lesson is truth. Truths are being revealed because we are dealing with Pluto. And so the moon is shifted Tuesday afternoon into the sign of Aquarius, where Pluto sits at, I believe, 2 degrees now. And so as the moon moves into Aquarius, she's still got to meet Pluto at the gate. He's not at 0 degrees where he was a month ago when I talked about Pluto as the gatekeeper, but he's still pretty much right at the gate. Okay, like you can come in, but you cannot pass go until you meet up with Pluto. Oh my gosh, you know what I just got the vision of? So like speakeasies, and like you'd knock on the door down like the dark alley, and you'd knock on the door, and like a little window would open up from behind the door, and like somebody's like, all you'd see was their eyes, right? Before they would let you in. Like that's Pluto. Okay, that is Pluto saying, okay, well, I have to check you out, and you have to see me, and I have to see you before you're allowed in the club. Okay, so in the Aquarius club. So, of course, if you are able to check out where Aquarius is in your chart, in your birth chart, or your natal chart, you will know specifically where Pluto is sitting, working with you, in what area of life in particular. But even if you don't have your chart, you can still intuitively tap into this energy. And I'm going to break this down a little further. Okay. So at some point on Tuesday, the moon will be conjunct Pluto. And in the sign of Aquarius, I really feel strongly that this energy from Pluto and Aquarius is beaming down the energy of how can you be more of your true authentic self? What have you been hiding about yourself? What masks can you remove? That is what Pluto wants, especially in the sign of Aquarius, because Aquarius is all about being your true authentic self. Okay? And when you do so, you come into alignment with your soul's path, with your soul tribe, with your higher self. This is what Pluto wants for all of us. Okay? Pluto wants us to be empowered, but Pluto will have power over us and show us where we are kind of dulling or masking our own power, disempowering ourselves. And some of the masks that we wear, right, are the masks of perfectionism, the mask of being in control, the mask of having all the answers all the time, right? One of the masks I call is the juggler, right? Where you are literally juggling all of the aspects of your life, all the different hats that you wear, and you're just juggling all the time, and they're always up in the air, and you've got it all under control, right? And you never miss a beat. And you know what? That's a bunch of BS, because we all drop one of the hats once in a while. So, you know, are you wearing the mask of the juggler where you have it all, right? I can do my work, and I can be a mom, and I can be a dad, and I can be the best friend, and, you know, and then I have plenty of time for self-care and taking care of my home and taking care of my health and all the freaking things. Like, it's just, you know, something's got to give. Are you wearing the mask of love and light? Right? That's a mask too, everyone. Spiritual bypassing. That's a mask where everything is just wonderful all the time. You love everyone. Everyone's your soulmate. You never get tripped up, right? No, that's a mask, because the truth is we are human beings. And although, yes, we can tap into that higher consciousness, some of us more often than not, we still are human, and we still feel human emotions, right? Including disappointment and feeling hurt or rejection or anger, blah, blah, blah. So this Pluto energy, this conjunction that the moon is making with Pluto as she moves into this sign of Aquarius, is going to show us where in our life we are actually disempowered. Now, we can be creating that energy for ourselves, or it can be others in our life, other people, other situations, dynamics. And the truth is going to be revealed, because that is what Pluto does. And we're going to feel it, because that's what the moon does. I have this beautiful quote up here on the screen. It says, "Empowerment is neither a victim avenged nor an asserted will. It comes from a place of deep love and contentment. From there, all things are possible." And this is said by Anita Inverarity. And she, I have this quote actually on the homepage of my website because it speaks to me so deeply. And she has some beautiful oracle decks, one of which I absolutely love, and it's called the Universal Folk, Folk, oracle deck. Really beautiful art and messages if you want to check her out. I'll try to remember to put a link to that in the description box below. But the other thing I want to say, about this Pluto energy, this truth revealing, is that you want to observe your tribes, your groups, your communities, your friendships. This is all Aquarian energy, okay? Because if these groups, friendships, communities are not a mirror, are not a reflection of your true, authentic self, who you are today in the vibration that you are today, then they are then reflecting a mask that you wear, that you put on. And this is for each of us to really sit with and say, well, I need that mask right now, right? I'm not ready to remove that mask, and I'm very consciously choosing to wear this mask for certain situations. And it does actually serve me because it's fulfilling a need that I have in my life at this time. So as long as you are aware and you're consciously choosing it, and you understand that it may also be draining and depleting some of your chi, your true authentic energy, then you can find ways to fill up that cup after removing that mask, right? So let's say you have to go to the job where for a certain amount of time during the day you're going to have that mask on. Please be conscious about it and find times during the day or when you get home where you can replenish. Once you take that mask off and you can then settle back into your true authentic self, maybe journal about it, maybe go for a walk, work out, take a shower, go be in nature, earth, ground yourself, whatever it is, to reconnect with your true authentic energy. That's very, very important. And really keep in mind that if you are wearing masks and you're conscious of them, ask yourself, how necessary is this in my life? Or are some of these masks I'm ready and I'm willing to let them go and, toss them in the garbage. I'm done wearing a mask in this situation, in this relationship, in this friendship, in this group, whatever it is for you. Because if we're going to come back to that quote by Anita, in terms of empowerment coming from a place of deep love and contentment, we're talking about love of self and connecting to your true authentic self and your higher self. That brings such alignment and contentment and love. And from that place, all things are possible. So you can find that new job that's more aligned. You can find those new friendships, connect with those new people who are reflective of your vibration now, right? It's not about feeling like I'm going to get revenge, right? Or I'm going to assert myself over someone else or something else. That's force. That's not empowerment. That's not even power. That's force. And so we want to really understand what empowerment means. That's what Pluto wants us to understand. How can we be more empowered in our own journey in our own sense of self. And the moon, when she meets up with Pluto, we can really feel disempowered and out of control, and like we just, like someone's got force over us or something has force over us. And if that's what you're experiencing, then sit with that and say, whoa, am I willing to continue on with this? And if not, then how can I take my power back? How can I move from powerlessness into the energy of empowerment? Maybe I do need to speak my mind a little bit more. Maybe I do need to spend less time with certain individuals. Whatever it is for you, just honor that and reflect upon that. Now, I'm not going to lie, that's not the only heavy energy going on tomorrow. Venus is going to also be squaring the moon and Pluto tomorrow because she moves into Taurus. And when she moves into Taurus, in those first couple of degrees, she is going to be squaring the moon, how we feel, memories. Something may come up around the mother because that's the moon as well. And of course, Pluto. Everything that I described about Pluto earlier applies here when Venus is squaring Pluto. And this may be in your female friendships. This may be in your romantic relationships. I'm calling this breakup energy. Okay? And look, we've all had friendships where we had to break up a friendship too. It's not just romantic partnerships. And so what's really happening, okay, is that when Venus squares the moon and Pluto tomorrow, the deep truths about all of our relationships are going to be revealed to us. Like, we cannot unsee it. We have to see it, and we cannot unsee it. Whatever is misaligned for us, that is not honoring who we are now, today, it's going to be in our face. We're going to feel it. So this could be literal breakups or breakthroughs. And not only that, but there is supportive aspect from Mars happening here as well with the moon, Pluto, and Venus. And that supportive energy from Mars, our planet of assertion and taking action, we're going to feel empowered, though, to take action. Like, if it means breaking up with someone, and whatever kind of relationship you're in, then you're going to have the gusto to do it. You're going to have the energy to do it. And just know, if this is coming up for you tomorrow or in the coming days, then you're right on time. And you will know. You will know. You will already know. You know, let's be honest, this whole month has been cycles of death and rebirth for us in many different ways. And so chances are you really already know what I'm talking about here if this is resonating for you. So I would ask you to please, before you do take any action, if this is coming up for you, to do it from a centered place of compassion and kindness. You want to lead with love. One of my new moon sisters, that's her mantra right now. And you know who you are. I know you're listening. And it's such a beautiful and empowering mantra that you want to lead with love. Now, that doesn't mean that you give someone more love than you give to yourself, right? You don't stay in a situation or a relationship because you have more love for somebody else than you do for yourself. That's not what that means. It means you ground into your true, authentic self. You know who you are. You know your vibration. And you want to keep it high. You want to keep a high vibration of forgiveness and compassion and wishing the best for all involved. You want there to be a win-win. Now, we cannot control, right, ever, the way somebody else is going to take something. That's on them. You just stay centered and grounded in your own being and your own self. And if you are the recipient of a breakup energy, of an ending that maybe, even if you know on some level is right for you, but it still hurts. Oh my goodness, please love on yourself. Let the tears flow. Give yourself extra compassion and kindness and comfort, whatever that means for you. And, we talked about this in Moon School actually this weekend. Another one of my Moon sisters, everyone is so wise and insightful, and she shared about, the Phoenix journey, that oftentimes when we are burning down the ashes of our old sense of self and our life, our literal life, sometimes we are burning down aspects of it. There can be grief in that. Even though we are so ready for it and we are so ready for the new, we could still have grief around what we are letting go of and what we are walking away from. And so even if we are the recipient of someone breaking up with us, so to speak, right? Or that we just know that a connection that we've had for a while is just, it's played out, it's done. You can still have grief around that. So please allow yourself the grace to feel anything and everything that's coming up for you. Okay. So the moon is still in Aquarius on Wednesday. And there's going to be another challenging aspect, the moon with the sun. And so, but that being said, so the sun is our sense of self, right? Our personality, our strong sense of self. And when the moon is squaring the sun, it can play out in any number of ways, really, but we could feel unsure about ourselves. Our insecurities may come up to the surface. But what I will say, that we are also getting a supportive aspect, very, very supportive, from the south node to the moon. And the south node is all about release, what you're ready to let go of. It's like, okay, I've been there, done that. It's old energy. It's not even connecting with me anymore. I'm really ready to just kind of sweep it off the table. Those crumbs are done. They're gone. And so on Wednesday, what are you ready to release? And I'm going to also use the word detach, because that's an Aquarian word. Healthy detachment. Healthy detachment is Aquarius in the higher expressions. So what are you ready to release and detach from now? That could be a question for you on Wednesday. Now, let's see. I feel like, so Wednesday, well, really into Thursday, okay? Because then Thursday, we have another big aspect. And Thursday, the moon is going to get a square, which is that challenging energy, with Jupiter. And this is at 29 degrees. So around the middle of the day, you may have some really big feelings, okay? Because Jupiter expands everything. It is the planet of expansion. And while Jupiter, I'm just going to take a sip here. For those of you who like a little ASMR. Jupiter expands everything. Jupiter is the great benefic. That's what the ancients called Jupiter. And so really it's the planet of blessings. But it still makes everything bigger. So it depending on the aspect, if it's a more challenging aspect, we just want to be aware that, okay, it may feel like a lot, or it may feel too much or overwhelming. And so what I would suggest here is find some alone time on Thursday if you can. The mantra let go and let God is coming in for me around this aspect on Thursday, because an hour after this aspect is exact of the moon and Jupiter, an hour later the moon moves in to Pisces. Okay, so let me just kind of reiterate that so you can get a clear picture. Okay, so the moon is at 29 degrees, making a square to Jupiter. She's moving. We're going to feel big, big, big when she makes that square to Jupiter. But remember, she's still in Aquarius, and so that's energy of the mind. And only an hour after that exact square, the moon then moves into the water sign of Pisces that wants us to let go, to be at one with everything and all, to have compassion and kindness, to feel, right? The water signs want us to feel. So that's where that let go, let God is coming in, because there's the energy of surrender. So if something is feeling really big for you on Thursday, allow yourself some alone time. Kind of literally throw your hands up into the air, if that helps you, and say, you know what? I give up. I give up. I surrender. I'm going to let this go and let God take care of this one, because I just don't even know what to feel, what to do, what to think next. And see, that's where that's actually how you can take your power back. I know it sounds ironic. Well, if I'm leaving it up to God, how am I in my power? Because you're no longer struggling. You're not banging your head against the wall of resistance. Every time you do that, you're giving your power away. There is power in knowing when to surrender. There's power in knowing when you don't have all the answers. That was one of those masks that I talked about for Monday, right? When you take off that mask of having to know all the answers, of being in control, another mask, and you surrender to the divine, that is you taking some of your power back and saying, you know what? I don't know right now. And that's okay. See? When you say that's okay, I'm good with that, all of a sudden now you're back in a place of being in your center, of grounding, of saying, you know what? I'm not in control of everything. I don't know all the answers. I can't juggle it all. And I'm not going to love and light all of this away. I love the expression, I'm going to stick a pin in it and I'm going to give it up to God. Because guess what? I'm limited in my perspective here as a human being, and I don't have all the answers all the time. And I know that I have a whole team on the spiritual side of things that is guiding me, protecting me, loving me, and I'm going to let them do their thing for a little while. I'm going to take a back seat for a little while. I'm going to let it all go. And I'm going to take some deep breaths. And I am going to trust. Trust is a huge part of surrender. But guess what? You need to quiet that ego voice to do this. The fear, that's your ego voice. The control, that's your ego voice. The I've got all the answers, I'm the authority, I've got it all handled and juggling and blah, blah, blah. That's all the ego. Stick a pin in that ego for a little while and let it go to God. Okay, let's see. So we're going to move to Friday. Hallelujah, right? Friday, I guess I'm saying hallelujah a little prematurely. Sorry, guys. Because Friday, May 3rd, the moon is going to be conjunct Saturn. And you know what? Like, that's not really like happy energy. That can actually feel heavy. It can feel a little down in the dumps. But I will say, that's not the only way it could play out. It could really show up as knowing and feeling and thinking or realizing that you got to put up some boundaries. Okay, now the moon is still in Pisces, so that might feel kind of elusive because Pisces is like the ocean. Like, how do you put boundaries around the ocean? Well, you have to be a continent, right? Like, that's literally the only thing that puts boundaries around the ocean. Like, where can you put the shore up in your life? Where can you be the bank or the beach around your emotional world on Friday? Because all of the stuff that we're moving through this week, it makes sense to me then that the moon is going to meet up with Saturn when she's in Pisces, because we're releasing a lot and we're breaking up with a lot and we're putting down a lot of heavy things. And so, and by the way, that was another beautiful saying that one of my moon sisters has adopted, and that is putting down the things that feel heavy, right? And so when we're doing all of this, it's natural then that we say, well, okay, now what boundaries can I put in place for myself so that I don't encounter these situations again, right? Because now, to be fair though, you know, when you align with your true authentic self and you meet people who mirror that back to you and honor your true authentic self, you really don't need the same boundaries that you would need with people who don't honor that, or situations that don't honor that. But in either way, we all may have tendencies to fall back into old patternings. And so perhaps the boundaries really are for yourself and what you're not willing to go back to. And that can feel really good. That can feel really empowering. You know, so that's, I would say, the main wisdom or lesson from when the moon meets Saturn, as Saturn is our closest outer planet. And it's time. It's time for this, right? And Saturn is also all about time. Our linear sense of time, our structures that we have here in place in our lives. Saturn is about karma, you know, and the consequences of our actions and responsibilities. So all of these things we may be feeling stronger. We may be feeling that sense of responsibility to ourselves and others on Friday. Whatever way this is showing up for you, just know that it's asking you to step up. And that's okay. That's a good thing. If it is playing out that you're feeling a little down in the dumps, that's okay too. I always say though, don't allow yourself to really fall deep into that victim consciousness. Okay? It's okay to have a pity party for like a little while. Like, in fact, it's kind of healthy, but give yourself a little time limit on that. Saturn, right? Give yourself time to feel that victim, you know, mentality, but then put a time limit Saturn wants us to put limits on things. Saturn is the limit of our personal planet. Saturn is that demarcation between the personal planets and the outer planets. And so he is the limit, the boundary before we start to go out further. And so take that as you will. But don't fall too deep into that victim consciousness. If that's how it's playing out for you, set a limit and say, okay, I'm going to give myself a pity party for like an hour. And then I'm going to pick myself up, dust myself off, and say, okay, what freaking boundaries do I need to put in place now? And how can I shift my perspective to one that is going to be empowering for me? Okay, so now we are going to move into Saturday. And so the moon is going to finish up her time in Pisces, right? And so she's going to be coming to those final degrees of Pisces and meeting up conjunct with Neptune. And so when the moon is conjunct with Neptune, Neptune is that unconditional love, that divine love, that dreaminess where all things are possible, just the ultimate optimistic viewpoint. And so and it's also creativity. I don't want to forget that. It's beautiful creative energy. And so Saturday morning, maybe you are really feeling all of those beautiful energies when the moon connects with Neptune. But you may also feel a lack of clarity, maybe some confusion. Maybe like you have the shadow aspect of optimism, right, is the rose-colored glasses. So just check in with yourself. Where on the spectrum is this energy showing up for you Saturday morning? And maybe you can channel some of the shadow, whether it's the confusion or the those rose-colored glasses, that maybe the illusions that you have around someone or something. Maybe you can channel that into creativity or compassion and love with yourself. Maybe you sit in meditation and connect with that divine love, source energy, and channel it in that way. Because I will tell you a couple of hours later, because Mama Moon, she moves quick. She's then going to move into Aries. And Mars will also be moving into Aries. And so Saturday, you could feel like you have a lot of energy. Like your motivation is back. Like maybe you want to be physically active. Maybe you have sexual energy that is turned on for you. Or maybe you're just feeling like you have the motivation to take action steps on something. And you're feeling that empowered energy where you're like, okay, yeah, I can really get going now. I'm ready to take those steps and take the action. Take the action on what I want to do next, what I want to manifest next, what I want to create next. Because remember, Aries is fire, and that's inspiration and creativity as well. Okay, we're going to wrap up the week. Sunday, May 5th, Cinco de Mayo. Maybe you have some celebrations on tap for that really jubilant celebration. The moon is going to be in Aries all day. And guess what? The final wisdom and lesson on Sunday for the moon is that she's going to be conjunct the North Node in Aries. And so I'm feeling like that is going to be some really empowered energy. Realize that Chiron and Mercury are right there. And if you remember, we started off the week in a challenging aspect with these energies. because Mama Moon was, I believe, squaring Mercury, Chiron, and the North Node because she was in Capricorn. But then when Mama Moon is in Aries, and then Sunday, as she's moving through pretty quickly, she is going to be conjunct Mercury, then Chiron, then the North Node. And so it's like, imagine that she just gets lit up like Mercury. I'm seeing her lit up in bright electric blue energy of epiphanies and realizations and, solutions coming through the mind. And then as she touches and moves on to Chiron, I'm seeing that energy of, it's like a bright green, vibrant energy light. And she's connecting with Chiron in beautiful healing energy. And then as she moves on and she's conjunct the North Node, well, wow, that is just bright white energy light. Or maybe it's that golden, I always think of the North Node as the yellow brick road, right? Our destined path, and it's lit up. It is bright white or it is golden light, and we are just feeling like, oh my gosh, I know, and I feel that I'm really on my way. And so I feel that this week, yes, it may be some big energies, big challenging energies, you guys. Like we are just moving through all of the muck this month, and this last week of April is no joke. And I feel that come the end of the week, when the moon moves into Aries, you're gonna feel a shift. Please just know you're gonna feel the shift. Like, be here for all of it, because you are really going to start feeling like you're aligning with your new destined path in that first week of May. So whatever heaviness you may move through this week, please just know, hang in there. It's a final releasing. It's a final shedding and letting go. And you're going to feel that empowered energy. You're going to feel that true, authentic self is just ready to burst forth. It is when I think of the moon in Aries, the moon, the feminine, the heart space, the mother. In Aries, I think of that beautiful pose in yoga of the peaceful warrior. The peaceful warrior, Aries the warrior. The moon is that peace, that divine mother, that healing energy, the compassion. And so you are the peaceful warrior of your own life. You truly are, and you are transmuting all of these heavier energies that have caused pain and keeping you small. And yes, there is some grief around letting these things go, but you are making space, beautiful ones. You are opening up your heart space, and you are stepping into a new version of yourself. You are. Know that you are. I know you feel it. I know your intuition is strong. So feel that empowerment. Know that everything we go through, we are growing through, right? I want to send you all so much love. I know you've got this. You've got it. And if you want to work personally with me, you can check out all my offerings on my website, empoweredmy.com. Follow me on Instagram at Donna, the Empowered Mystic, or Donna Empowered Mystic. Please like this video if you liked this video. Share it with friends, family who may need this right now. Subscribe to my channel. And if you can, please leave a comment, because it really helps the channel. It helps the algorithms. It helps me to be found by others on YouTube who could really benefit from this content. Listen, at the end of the week, it's let's fucking go energy, okay? We're going to get there. It's spring, everything's blooming here in the north, and you're ready. You are ready for all of this. I know that you've got this. I see you, and I'm sending you so much love, so much empowerment, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye for now.